why would you come together, quote unquote, as black people in America under a white structure? I never was able to reconcile that. And I can get, when black sororities and fraternities were started at the turn of the century, or the turn of the last century, it made sense that, you started the club that they would allow you to join, to come together, to be able to network and make moves. But we have long since realized that the Greeks are children of Africa. Greek philosophy, European philosophy, those are afterthoughts to African philosophy and directly come from us. So at the point when that's realized, at the point when you say, okay, this comes from us, why not revert back to the original at this juncture and at this time? Why don't we have brotherhood and sisterhood organizations that are founded for us, by us, under a structure that was created for us, by us? It makes no sense to develop any philosophy and any endearment to a system made by people who had no intention but to oppress and do away with it. But even bigger than that, even if you skip over those details, the fact that you have these organizations with huge numbers of people, even active versus non-active members in fraternities and sororities, each chapter has enough people in it to start a small company, and in some cases large companies, to be able to build and provide something immediately tangible, immediately productive and fruitful for the community. And I mean beyond tutoring, I mean beyond giving some clothes away, beyond a botillion or cotillion, beyond some rites of passage program. The amount of people, the academic level of people, the accomplishments of the people involved in sororities and fraternities, those people are more than enough that's needed to start corporations, to start organizations that feed, that educate, that prepare us and secure us in the war being waged against us. And I've never been able to understand why that's not happening. Why are there prominent members of sororities and fraternities who have members of their own families that aren't eating and learning appropriately? How can you be a person of status in your company and in your social life, but not have a system in place or be part of a system that accommodates helping the rest of the people up, even if it's to help people up through joining your organization? There's too many members of sororities and fraternities that have, for lack of a better way to put it, been left behind, or that there was no system to empower, or no system that met the nuances needed for those individuals to be successful. Therefore, sororities and fraternities are largely, at this point, in my opinion, a waste, in that context. And they do some good things that you can't deny, you can't take away. However, when you pan out and get a bird's eye view of the situation, it's a good idea gone bad, so to speak. And it's stagnant largely at this point. Everything that those organizations were started for, I think the spirit of that has been lost for the statuses and imagery that's portrayed, and for the connotation that's been built around being a member or statused person in a sorority or fraternity. So with me personally, unless there would be some type of development that aids our movement, that aids our people, that's centered around connecting the dots of our people around this world and creating a network that would allow us to maneuver and compete and do more than survive and get to the point where we can live and be free, which, looking at that slice of our people alone, there's enough power and potency there if the dots are connected for the network. And it doesn't seem or appear that there's any intention of such. There's no sign, there's no movement currently of the Divine Nine trying to fortify our people. What is evident, what is apparent, is that they'll bicker and fight with each other and say, you know, this is our vibe, join us. Their vibe is this, fuck them, don't be a part of that group, blah, blah, blah. Oh, they do this. We, you know, like that. It's almost, you know, it's the same thing in the conscious community with the cats that debate each other and tear each other down more than they build each other up. When if they took the blinders off, they would be able to see there's more for us to do, and it's easier for us if we work together versus focusing on differences that are really not actual differences. The things that we draw lines in the sand are arbitrary, or things that we just choose to believe and think, or we allow ourselves to come up with reasons and rationales to not bond that have nothing to do with anything tangible. Black sororities and fraternities, you know, there's some good elements to it as far as camaraderie, making friends, having some, you know, maybe the people you're online with will be your friends and have your back later in life. But right now that system is flawed. That system is unattractive in the manner in which our blackness is being squeezed down and bleached into a white process that wasn't made for us, that doesn't fit us, that we try to fit ourselves to. Thusly so, we act unnaturally and illogically in trying to be a part of those groups. And then we end up being another leg of the evil that oppresses and downpresses us, that you would think we were all motivated to put an end to. But, you know, the Black Panthers started with a couple of teenagers that wanted to get together and do something. Black sororities and fraternities are exponentially more powerful, or exponentially, they have more potential than the Panthers ever did, and can actually do more. They're more accepted. They've got a economic base. There's professionals of every category, however, nothing's moving. And I can take baby steps by myself versus, you know, joining something to be stagnated. You can probably make bigger steps along versus doing it through their system. My mother's a member of a sorority. My closest and oldest friends are members of fraternities. Several women I've been involved with were members of sororities. And I haven't held my opinion on fraternities and sororities from any of them. So that's my opinion. You know, there needs to be a reformation when it comes to sororities and fraternities for our people. And we need to create brotherhood and sisterhood under the systems that we originally built, that the Greeks copied from. And we need to return to a place of dominance and superiority about the things which we created, and stop copying copies. We need to involve ourselves with things that promote and push our people to higher levels versus anything that separates, segregates, and keeps us with the low ceiling over our head that we keep low.
Yes, 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 y'all. We are the absolute best, y'all. From the Wild West, y'all. Yeah. Mackin' on a nun, freed her from the convent, hit her with the gospel, Patah's breath, heaven sent, gave her the saber of light, and tried to leave a dent, but she's the type you can only rent for a short stint. Put it on a queen with a 3-country accent, diamonds fell from her body during her wet ascent, weightless from the magic that old one reinvents, ice and pearls, ice with pearls, she really loves the content, she'll drain every drop 100%, I toss supreme basilisk is true to the full extent, about where God is and where she never went. Madam Supreme spread her wings and began her ascent. I showed ratchets the source of they discontent, sharpen they sight. Now those incidents are non-events. On my way down, hitting them all, lifting what I underwent. Baby bid on me, and sadly she